Hey guys, Matt with Monster Tech. Today, a quick review on some leather seats we put in the Wrangler. Roll the intro. Alright guys, welcome back. So as I stated in some previous videos, we had some leather seats ordered for the JK. Now we ordered a kit from Katzkin. It's a company that makes leather for both OEM and aftermarket. To have these seats installed at a dealer probably would have been about $2,000. We picked up the seats for about $550 and finally got around to putting them in. And they weren't hard at all. So let's take a look at them. We'll talk about some things I learned, some things I like, some things I don't like, and give you some final reviews. Here we go. All right, guys. So this leather is super premium. Real thick. It's a little stiff right out of the package, but I'm hoping that with some kid wear and tear, it'll get all worn in pretty good. Some things that I learned, some things that I didn't learn. You don't have to take off the bottom seats. I did by taking 2 bolts out of each one of the bottom, flipping it up and taking the seat off. And then folding this over, it's got some zippers. The back seats took me about 4.5 hours. So 4.5 hours of solid work, mainly just learning as I go on what to do. So you might be able to get it done sooner. Who really knows? So let's take a look. Got all the wife's stuff back here. So you got these zippers here. They zip right up on both sides. You're gonna have to pull all the regular factory cloth material off. Put these on. They do require a hog ring tool. So I'll show you that at the end of the video here. You're going to want to get a good one. Let's see here. You got about 10 hog rings in the front seats in each one, and roughly half a dozen or a dozen of them in the back seats. So get something comfortable to use. Let's take a look at the front. All right, now to the front seats. These were relatively easy. There's 4 bolts that hold them on. There's a little wiring harness underneath the seat. For the sensor, for the airbags, so on and so forth, and the airbag if you've got your model equipped with airbags in the side. The seats in the front here took me right at about 1 hour each, and that includes disassembly. Took me about 10 minutes to get each seat out. You're going to want to use, an impact wrench or a breaker bar. You're going to get some pretty good arm strength, some good old elbow grease getting those bolts out. They are Loctited from the factory. So these, not bad at all. Just remember, when you're doing this part, these don't come out. The headrests do and the poles do, but the black plastic pieces don't come out. They stretch around, so make sure you cut a small hole just slightly bigger than that bar and then just pull it down around. As you can see, it stretches pretty good. So you get that right down around the edge. Now, what I used is some spray silicone on here. I'll show you guys that at the end of the video. I sprayed some dry lube silicone on these, stuff that's made for interiors and upholstery. Supposedly, it helps to reduce the friction on the leather backing material and the foam and allows the leather to really kind of seat. Now, it looks a little wrinkly. You're like, hey, that doesn't look good. They're supposed to look like this from the factory. Once you drive the vehicle, once you sit in the vehicle, and use it, that all really just kind of wears into all the little nooks and crannies it's supposed to go into. There's a lot of Velcro back here inside the seat. So let's take a look at some of the tools I used and we'll wrap this up. All right, guys, as I said, I used the spray silicone by Sprayway, model number SW945. Low viscosity, they call it a release agent, but if you pay close attention, furniture and upholstery, light assembly and automotive. This stuff, you just lightly spray it real quick over the foam, and then you can start putting the leather on. It does help immensely with the sliding of the leather as you put it onto the seat. Super, super, super nice. The hog ring tool I'm using is a Republic Fastener Corporation. I think that's the model number SCXX. This one, made in the US. Don't see that much anymore. And then the hog rings that I used are the 3/8 inch super tight closed stainless hog rings, also made in the US, and then those are by Plant My Tank. So I believe Plant My Tank is the actual seller of these on Amazon. I bought it, it came as a kit, came with these and the hog rings. I think it was like 25 bucks, but I will say I'm happy that I used these ones. I've seen some reviews on some of the Chinese ones, and they just don't work very well. Now, these ones have a little groove, if you can see that, on both jaw, and the hog rings seat right in there. They're spring-loaded, so they hold the hog ring when you let this go. You can set it down, it stays loaded with the hog ring, and when you're moving it around, getting it into the foam, you really, 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 really are gonna need to have something that can hold the hog ring. You're probably going to want to invest in a really, really good pair of side cutters. You're going to have to snip some of the old hog rings that are in there. They are these, and if after snipping a good 5 or 10 of them, if you're using some Harbor Freight, although I'm not saying anything bad about Harbor Freight, I've got some Harbor Freight tools. You know that the cutting edge isn't going to last very long on those. So, so that's for the specialty items that I purchased to use putting the seats in. All right, so what could I have done differently? Well, I could have invested in the heated seat mechanisms for the front seats. I could have run the power and the switches to the dash. It probably would have made my wife much, much happier. But that's roughly about $300 extra. So we were trying to do this on a budget. We got it done. So they're gonna be a little chilly in the wintertime, but when the top's off in the summertime, she'll be complaining because it's a little hot. So we'll probably, put something over them when we're driving with the top off or whatnot. So, and of course you wear pants in the wintertime, so it shouldn't be too bad. I did sit on them for the first time. They are a little stiff. They're not as soft as the cloth seats, but I'm told by the manufacturer that wears in. So that shouldn't be an issue. So if you're thinking about it, Katzkin is the name of the company that I used. There's also Canadian Leather Company and also leatherseats.com. I know a couple of Jeep guys that are doing those, and they all look very good. And from what I understand, they're all made by Katzkin. So just 3 different brands, just privately labeled. So Katzkin leather seats, hard to find, but just go on eBay or Amazon, search for them. If you can find them in the ones that you want, get them ordered. I wouldn't pay much more than $550 for the whole kit. And then plan yourself a good 7 or 8 hours to get it done. I did it by myself. So if you had an extra set of hands, it might be helpful. But if I don't do it by myself, I can't tell you everything I had to do. You will need some Torx wrenches, some mild sockets, and then of course the impact wrench or breaker bar, big set of ratchets. Other than that, I hope you liked this video. Just a super quick review. We're going to also put the Katzkin leather seats in our 2021 Silverado. We're going to try and record that one as an install video, but that takes a lot of time, so we'll see how that works out. As usual, if you're new to the channel, make sure that you subscribe and like, and then smash that bell so that you're always notified when we upload new videos. All right. Well, again, thanks for watching. I'm Matt, and this is Monster Tech. Roll the outro.